What's up? I'm Spencer from Ice Nine Kills, and I'm hanging out with Rob on Front Row Live.
The last time we talked, you were about to drop your latest album. You guys were in the recording process of Silver Scream, and now you just released the deluxe version of it, and it's crazy because the initial album I thought was already a masterpiece. I didn't know how you could make it even better, and then you drop Final Cut, and it's just blew me away. So
you.
congratulations with Final Cut and the initial record.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, it's been quite a journey from writing it to releasing it to now doing the deluxe version and seeing everyone's reaction be so positive. It's great.
So one cool thing about it was you got to bring Ari on board to do that acoustic session with you guys. What did that mean to you, having him on board, and what was that like, kind of collaborating with him?
It was really cool. It was just a shot in the dark kind of idea that I had, where I found his email and I knew he was in a great band called First Jason, that he had a great voice, and I reached out to him, just put it on the table, and to my surprise he responded right away and said he was a fan of the band, which obviously meant a lot to me, and that he was so excited to be part of it, and he absolutely killed his performance. And to hear this song now and to have Jason singing these words that that we wrote, talking about the legacy of Friday the 13th, hearing him say "Thank God it's Friday," it gives me chills and allows me to kind of step back and be a fan of the song. Right. You know what I mean?
Now, how cool is it to kind of get into the studio and kind of recreate these kinds of songs, or make these kinds of songs that, you're obviously, it's because you're a horror fan. So it's when you're making these songs, what kind of feeling, what goes in your mind when you're creating them?
It's a lot of fun. These are movies that I'm so passionate about and so familiar with. I know them like the back of my knife. So to be able to create our own art and our own world within those songs was just incredible, and it was a really fun and challenging process to try to embody those characters vocally.
Right.
And pay a respectful homage to how classic that these films and characters truly are.
Right. As far as classics go, you also added a cover of Thriller, Michael Jackson's Thriller, and you made this your own, man. If I was someone that has never heard of Michael Jackson before, and then this started playing, I would have assumed that it was your song. You guys definitely reimagined this whole song. So what was the creative process behind it, and what was the idea behind making it the way that you did?
It was actually all Vinny from Sirius Radio's idea. We were going into do an acoustic performance about a year ago when the album came out, and he said, you do one acoustic version of your own song and then an acoustic version of a cover. Yeah. And he said, I would love to hear you guys cover Thriller. So I was like, oh, all right, I'm up to the challenge. So I sat down with my guitar and was playing through the chord progressions of Thriller, and that's an incredible song, but the chord progressions it doesn't sound like an Ice Nine Kills song. Right. So I kind of tinkered around with it and tried to put our own stamp on it while still retaining some of the most iconic elements of Michael Jackson's song. And it was a lot of fun, and I think it came out great.
Now, do you guys see yourselves doing a music video for that track? I feel like that would be an insane video, because not only is the music amazing, but the videos that you guys create are insane. So I can't imagine what a Thriller video would be like for you guys.
We might stay away from that one just because
it's too iconic.
It's it's probably one of, if not the greatest music videos of all time.
That's true.
So might stay away from it, but I'd be lying if I said it wouldn't be fun.
Right. So with these new songs that you guys added to the Final Cut version, were these songs that you guys had initially recorded while you guys were creating the initial record, or did they come afterwards after you guys released it?
These were all recorded just a few months ago in the summer.
Wow, okay.
So all the new tracks were new ideas or new reimagining of the old tracks. So it was done pretty recently.
And did you guys go back in with, I think it was Andrew Folk you said was working with you guys?
We worked with Drew Falk on the Silver Scream, the original version, and then we did do Your Numbers Up based on Scream with Drew.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was the idea behind releasing Your Numbers Up as the lead single for this record?
Scream has always been one of my favorite horror films, probably my favorite of all time. and I just thought it would be such a great way to reintroduce the album. And so many people have wanted us to do a song about Scream that this was just seemed like the perfect timing for it.
Now, a few months back, I caught up with Chelsea Talmadge on a red carpet, and I talked to her
I
about.
saw that.
Did you? Okay, cool. Like, I talked to her about recording with you guys. Like, I'm curious to hear your take on that session and like what made you want to bring her into your album.
She's an incredibly talented actress and singer, and she's actually in Doctor Sleep that comes out I think today or tomorrow. And we had mutual friends, and I heard her sing in a bar one night, just doing karaoke. I think she was singing Alanis Morissette, and I knew right then and there that we'd have to collaborate at some point.
Right. Now, did you actually get to like write with her, or is it one of those things where you kind of sent her the lyrics and then had her kind of record it on her own?
We sent her sort of a rough sketch of the melody and the lyrics, and she did her own thing with it, and it was great. It turned out beautiful.
I feel like this year there's been a lot of horror films that have come out. Either new versions or like just brand new films. Like, do these kind of films, is that what inspires you to kind of go on and start working on the next albums, or do you already have those ideas in mind for your next album?
I usually have them in my head already, and I tend to like to use a bit older of films. Just so that you've seen that they've stood the test of time.
Right.
But I'm always open to seeing new horror films, and I'm always down to support the genre. I try to go out and see them in the theaters as much as I can.
Now, what song do you feel was the biggest challenge for you on Final Cut?
I remember that Stabbing in the Dark took a long time to just get right, especially vocally, because you're trying to present a character that doesn't speak, and you have to sing. So it's like, Michael Myers doesn't speak, so how would he sing? So it was kind of an interesting process to wrap my head around.
Right. Now, I feel like the Silver Scream kind of opened even bigger doors for you guys as far as the tours go, as far as like, just coming in here, like the line wraps around the whole block. Do you see that impact that record had for you guys, and what has been the biggest thing that you've caught from this record?
It's crazy, coming to a place like LA where we've played for 10 plus years and played shows to, back in the day to very few people. I remember we played at a place called the Kung Fu Corner. I think it was the first time. I don't know if you remember it, but it was basically a karate dojo that they would do shows at, and play right there on the floor and right there on the mats. And it was great. It was great to experience that and get used to touring. But to come to playing a major venue in Los Angeles and having it sold out in advance, it's incredible. And the album definitely, I think, really took the band to the next level.
Now, as I mentioned earlier, your music and your music videos are like top notch, but like, how do you make those match the live show when you guys go on tour? Especially like, the set design, if you guys have any. Like, how do you guys make it match to what you guys release online?
Well, this tour has been really the first one that we could do some real production with, and we have the biggest lighting and production rig we've ever toured with. We almost didn't fit it in the trailer. It was so much. And we're working with an LD that has a background in theater, so he's done stuff in productions with Les Miserables and Phantom of the Opera. So he really gets lighting cues and the importance of effects and live production to enhance the experience. So I think that it's going to be the best we've ever done.
And aside from like the light show, do you have much say as far as like the way the production is going to look?
Yeah, I mean it's all sort of guided by my general overall concept, but I'm always down to collaborate with anyone who has a great idea.
So I don't know if you're an Ozzy fan.
Yeah, I am.
So I don't know if you've heard his new single. He just dropped a new single for the first time in a decade. And it kind of, the title alone made me think of you guys because it's called Under the Graveyard. So it just gives me that kind of horror kind of feel. What are your thoughts on that single if you've heard it? And, what are the possibilities of like kind of trying to bring him into one of your songs?
I mean, that would be a dream come true. Obviously, Black Sabbath open the door for bands that would open the door for bands that would open the door for bands that would open the door for us.
Right.
So I mean, being involved with someone who's so important to the history of metal, I mean, would be incredible.
So you guys are currently on tour right now. The record just dropped a week ago. So what are the plans for the remainder of 2019, and how do you see 2020 kicking off for you guys?
Well, we finish up the Octane Accelerator tour, which ends, I believe, December 1st, and then we hop on a plane the next day to go to Australia for the first time, which would be incredible, playing with Parkway Drive and A Day to Remember, among many other bands at some festivals. And yeah, that's how we're ending the year.
Dang. So first time in Australia. I would have thought you guys have been out there already.
No, we have not. So I'm excited to get down under.
That's awesome, dude. Well, congratulations with this tour. Congratulations with Final Cut. You guys be sure to check out Ice Nine Kills. Get the new record, the deluxe version, Final Cut, and thanks for watching on Front Row Live.